Hey everyone, welcome to This Prepared Life. I'm Allison, and today we are going to talk about water storage layers. So I talk a lot about layering your water storage. I talk a lot about layering everything, layering your food storage, layering your water storage, having layers in your preps. And having redundancy means you are not putting all of your eggs in one basket. If one of your preps fails, you have an alternative, or you have identified a backup to your backup. So layers and water preps for us looks like many different things. So the first layer of our water preps is water bottles. And I don't prefer to use store-bought water bottles. I much prefer to use our reusable water bottles, but I do keep several cases of water bottles on hand, as well as several jugs, like gallon jugs of water. And I just rotate these through when we go on camping trips or things like that. I can also just dump these straight into our Berkey if they're coming up on their expiration date. I do label all store-bought water with an expiration date and rotate it before it expires. The water itself is not going to go bad in these types of containers, but what can happen over time, and this really also depends on your storage conditions, is the plastic in these bottles can leach into the water. So I don't suggest storing these longer and past their expiration date. Rotate them through in some way. The next layer of our water storage are water storage containers. And this is water that we have put in there ourselves and treated for storage. So these are water bricks. This is a water brick. I believe this is a 3.5 gallon size. I also have some 1.5 gallon size, and these are stackable. So I bought these when we lived in the city and didn't have a ton of water storage space, because I can stack 4 by 4 high, 4 across, 4 high of these, and get a considerable amount of water in a small amount of space. They also sell large, round, drum-like containers in various sizes. Those are great for water storage. Stick them in your garage or your basement, out of the way, and the water will last a very long time. I rotate our water every 6 to 12 months in these water storage containers. We have well water, so I use bleach for water storage. And if you head on over to my Instagram, I have a story highlight called Water, and the chart that I use is in there. You can also Google it, it's online. So we use bleach for our water storage, and then these are typically getting dumped into our Berkey when we have a power outage, and I use these quite often. Actually, living in North Idaho, we do have power outages, and last winter, the couple power outages we had, for some reason our generator did not kick on and Joe was out of town. So I was not about to go mess with the generator in the middle of the night in winter. So I just pulled out our water storage containers. Speaking of generator, that is another layer of our water preps. We have a well, so when we have no power, we have no water. So having a generator that can run your well when the power goes out is important if you are on a well, as well as a hand pump. And they do make all different kinds of hand pumps for different types of wells. So do some research into those and what might work for the type of well and the depth of well that you have. We have water bottles, we have water storage container, we have a generator that can run our well when the power is out. In addition, we have many different types of water filters, and I only have 2 of them here. This is a suction filter. It's just a straw. These can often be really hard for kids to use, so make sure you test your gear. And then this is our Berkey water filter that we just use regularly in our kitchen. In addition, we have multiple different backpacking water filters, the pump kind, the suction kind. So do some research on water filters. There are so many different options out there for what you are going to be using it for and who is going to be using it. Like I said, some are definitely easier for children to use than others. So water filters is another layer in our water preps. And an additional layer in our water preps is identifying local water sources and having a way to filter and treat that water if needed. Also, when you are thinking about that, great, you have a stream next to your house or you have a pond on your property. That is awesome. And you know how you're going to treat and filter that water. Should you need to, how are you going to haul that water? Water is incredibly heavy. So before a situation happens, think through that and come up with a plan for how you are going to haul that water from point A to point B, because none of us want to be hauling buckets of water by hand unless we absolutely have to. These are some of the things in my water storage layers. Like I said, if you want to know how to treat water, head over to my Instagram. You can also join this Prepared Life community. We have an entire month on water preps where I went deep in depth and gave behind the scenes tours of my water storage. That is really, this Prepared Life community is where we go deep into all of these homestead prepper topics. So if you are ready to take your journey one step further, join me over there. You can find that on my website. So water is one of the most important preps. It is also one of the hardest, and it is purely because of the sheer amount of space that water takes up. Having enough water for your family, and that depends on the size of your family, can take up a considerable amount of space. I suggest 2 gallons of water per person per day. That 1 gallon of water per person per day number that we often see thrown around, that number is actually for survival. That is how much water your body needs to survive and you would need to survive. But in an emergency, you are going to be using energy. You are going to be doing work. You are going to be stressed out. Your body is going to need more water. So I suggest for each person, 2 gallons of water per day for 2 weeks stored and ready to go, whether that's water bottles or water storage containers. And then additional layers of water on top of that are plans that you can access water or get additional water from. I hope this was helpful to you in thinking through different water prep solutions and not only doing one thing. Do not put all of your eggs into one basket. Do not put all of your water preps into one thing. Have different layers in your water storage.